Woodward Sports app and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal. Ruhl. That guy over there is D-Mac and Darren McCarty. Terry Foster off on the Tuesday. He'll be back with us tomorrow. But football is back with us now. That is official. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Didn't do too much laboring. D-Mac, how was it, man?
I labored. Played a few rounds of golf.
Yeah.
Actually, hunt more in Shepherd's Hollow, but enjoyed the time. And, yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on. I saw you posting pictures from was that the Peach Festival in Romeo?
Yeah, we slid out to the Peach Festival in between.
Did you have some peaches or a peach pie?
Peach pie. I did pony up for the slice of peach pie.
Because you did mention that, one of the big things is that for these weekends like this is that you do save your, the big thing is you save your sugar grams, right? So was it worth it? My question is, I was always wondering is, because when, that's sort of the sacrifice. And if whether a lot of people who work out use, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? He's famous for his
Sundays,
for his cheat days, right? Where like this, were you disappointed or was it as successful? Because I think sometimes, if you're saving yourself and you want that, maybe it's the peach cobbler and maybe it wasn't as good, but was the payoff there?
Yeah, it was good. It's just when you don't eat that stuff and then you have it, it's never as good as you remember it. You know what I'm saying? But it was good, and I'm glad that I did.
But it's also good to remember that what you don't want.
That
right?
is true.
So it's also too is that if you can remind yourself the grass isn't greener, right? It's some of the things that remind yourself it's not what you want. It's when you realize what you don't want, then you're further ahead. But I'm glad you got to enjoy it.
Absolutely, though. We did have a good Labor Day weekend. Called 3 soccer matches for ESPN Plus in 24 hours, so that was kind of cool. I was laboring as well, D-Mac, but you know who we have. We have the other usual suspects in here. A big college football weekend. You'll hear from these guys a lot. We have Sam Flannel in the house. Sam, how was the weekend, man?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, I got to watch the Michigan game on Saturday. Then I took the lady.
Big win.
Big win.
Game.
Took the lady to downtown Detroit, had a few drinks, some dinner. Then on Monday, I did the fall thing. I went to kind of an apple cider place, Three Cedars Farms in Northville.
Proud of you.
That was a lot of fun. That is one of her favorite things to do. We did the corn maze, the hayride. It was wonderful. Great weekend. But I'm glad to be back here. I missed you guys Friday.
We missed you too. We missed you too because we're going to catch up on the whole football situation, everything that went on. Spencer Raxter in the building. What'd you do this weekend, Spence?
Yeah, we're doing the high school football games. So on Friday we did De La Salle's. They were playing at Lawrence Tech, so we did there and we hyped up the crowd, being easy a little bit. I also got around to golfing. Hit Cracklewood yesterday. Had a round in. It was pretty fun.
You got the east side, man.
We got to get him off the 6-hour rounds, though.
Yeah. We had a foursome of 60-year-old women in front of us, and it took us literally 6 hours to get through. We almost missed my fantasy draft. That was terrible.
No, but we are excited, ready to get back at it. Remember, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. You can jump in that YouTube chat thread as well. Detroit Dabber leading us off, as he usually does, with the big What Up, Doe. And I like that the What Up, Doe has become a big thing amongst everybody. And it's cool. It's cool to get the day off, but it's also cool, to get back in the fold here and get things popping.
Well, it is because it's exciting. Obviously, college football season starting last weekend over the weekend into the Monday, and the pros starting Thursday. So everybody, like Spence said, low key. Who'd you get as your quarterback?
Dak Prescott.
Are you happy?
Did you
with
take
it?
him in the first round?
No, I took him in the 8th round.
Who was your first rounder?
Najee Harris.
It wasn't Patrick Mahomes like somebody else.
Risky.
Over here.
I think he's gonna
at
pop.
4, the legend killer.
Yeah.
He's gonna get killed all year for that one.
Yeah, that was pretty big. I got Najee Harris, and then I got receiver? Tyreek Hill. And so,
nice.
Yeah,
Cheetah.
I'm excited with how my team turned out.
Who's going to throw that ball to Tyreek Hill?
Your boy Tua.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that guy's pretty accurate, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can he get it downfield?
That's what's according to Tyreek Hill.
Have
Most
you been
accurate
told?
quarterback he's ever played with. That's what I was
Tyreek Hill
told.
said that.
Yeah, about Tua.
Hey, enjoy your 9.5 yards a catch this season, Tyreek Hill.
Well,
it's a good thing he's got speed, right? Hey, you know what? I just need him to get a little bit of space with that 3-yard out route.
Mike G in our YouTube chat thread, that FSU-LSU game was local. There were a lot of local college football games, and we're going to lead things off with the college football discussion. We'll get into the Lions. It is a Lions game week. I will say this. Tonight, by the way, final episode of Hard Knocks. Hopefully,
is there
some get your playbooks.
Mm-hmm. Listen, but is there juice taken out of it because you know
who's cut? Yeah, 100%.
Because you know what's going on, or so. What do you go into looking to see more of? Is there anything?
I just want to see get your playbook. I want the phone to ring and bring your playbook.
Love that, eh?
But again, D-Mac, your tone. Watch your tone right there. Watch your tone.
All right.
I don't love it as in, I love to get the guys cut. I love it because that's as real as it gets.
And you know what? It's as real as it gets, and the reality of it is maybe remember some of these names.
Yeah.
To see how, this sort of affects them. I don't know. I've learned that you're gonna suffer more time somebody telling you what you can't do, and it's how you respond to it. So, it's always interesting. We look and we see the guys like Tom Kennedy. Just saw that. Tim Boyle was re-signed to the practice squad and stuff like this. So some of these guys that we'll see what the playbook might still be around, and you never know if this motivates them for something bigger and better.
Yeah, and again, I like that part of it because I like the humanity of it all. Because it's those guys are human beings, and they're chasing a dream, and they want to play in the league. And no matter what happens, they made it to a training camp. No matter what happens.
I'm interested to see if you have more clarity of who played their way onto this roster and sort of who played their way off of this roster. You know what I'm saying? We understand that with the way that the backup quarterbacks were talked about and that's what I liked hearing too, coming out of Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, is the fact that we had a plan and both these guys didn't own up to or didn't hit the level or the ceiling that we expected, so we have to move on. And you know what? To me, that's you have a game plan and those expectations, and even though we're starting small, coming off of 3 wins, it's that culture and what they're building in the locker room.
In the YouTube chat thread, Avery. Neal is going to have some good takes on Iowa for sure after that offensive display. We have some data, do we not, Spence?
We do indeed.
God.
We have some data, and here it is. We saw this on Twitter from Matt Benson. The most wins when punting 8 or more times since 2020. Iowa has 6 of them. 8 other teams are tied for second with 2. That's where Iowa lives. That's what Iowa does.
That's embarrassing.
Guys... And look, for those that don't know, you guys saw it here because it was in our little text thread. I'm already putting the kibosh on it. When Michigan goes to Iowa, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about how it's a big win or it's hard to go to Iowa and win. No, it's not hard to go to Iowa. It's not. If South Dakota State can do it and hold them to 7 points, then I would think that a top 5 team in the nation, which Michigan probably will be very, very soon.
Yes.
I would think that they wouldn't have a problem doing it. Get Iowa out of here. But you know what, though? I shouldn't be upset about it because it all worked out for Kirk Ferentz, who is the world's greatest digital criminal. Batman. The greatest digital criminal. Nobody has stolen more money with a pen than Kirk Ferentz has.
Tell him why.
Because it's in Kirk Ferentz. We're getting close to a Monroe St. Brown territory with Kirk Ferentz.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Kirk Ferentz' contract that any year he gets 6 or more wins, he gets a baked-in raise.
Now, those have to be Division I wins.
Non-Division I or non-FBS wins count. So that's why every year they're playing a South Dakota State or a North Dakota or somebody like that. Those wins count towards a total. So as much as we laugh, and you all laugh, and I got the social media messages from all you guys, just like we got here from Avery on our YouTube chat thread. We all laugh at it, but you know who laughs last? Kirk Ferentz laughs. He has the last laugh all the time because it counts. It counts towards a bonus, and here he goes. So you know what? Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem with Iowa football because I don't get it. But I do get it. And you know who gets it? Kirk Ferentz. You know what? Good for you.
Good for him.
It's like the Michigan schedule thing.
I am the walrus, cuckoo-ca-choo. He's cuckoo-ca-chooing it all over down there.
It's like the Michigan schedule thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not do it that way? What's the penalty? There is none.
Well, we haven't even touched on the BCS moving a 12-game playoff and all that too, which is a big conversation, because even to your point more of how you will schedule your games, well, you want to win, but it's also too, do you expect, that's a whole new conversation. Do you like the fact that gets quick question that the BCS is moving to 12 games, whether it's in 2000, they say they have to do it by 2026.
Yeah,
they're hoping maybe.
I mean, I know why they're doing it,
right,
and I'm accepting of it, and I understand why they're doing it. The problem I have, I don't need to see Michigan, Georgia more. I don't need to see it. I need to see less of that, not more.
You'd rather just keep it top cream.
Yeah.
Heavy. You don't think this is going to spread the schedule
from a
out?
viewership enjoyment perspective. I
Right.
mean, what are we going to do here? We're going to have Alabama playing Oregon or Georgia playing Oregon. Do we need to see that? You see what I'm getting at?
It's
we just saw that. Didn't we see Alabama?
Right. I definitely don't need to see that again.
Yeah. It's so the 6 conference champions get in. It'll be, the obviously the 5 power conferences, and then 1, whether that's Mountain West, whether it's
6 at-larges that they deem worthy.
And it's, one of them will be the best out of the non-Power 5, and then the 4 top-ranked champions get a bye week, and the rest of them, the 4 that highest that aren't on the bye week, host a playoff game. So that'll be pretty cool.
So 5 to 8, you get a 5, 6, 7, 8, you get a playoff game.
Yeah, on campus, or you can. They said you could put it in a dome if you want, like weather-wise. If you'd rather play in a dome, you can go somewhere close by.
Right, and get more ticket sales or whatever it is that you want to do. That's what they'll do. So I get why they're going to do it. I understand it. And it's a way to kind of further manipulate the matchups and further manipulate the revenue distribution and all that stuff. Make no mistake, guys, that's what this has been about, is about, and will be about. There is no doubt about it. Our guy, Rogelio, from Woodward Tigers. Neal, my man, I went to see Michigan at Iowa, and there's something about that place. I have no clue why, but it always screws people up. Kirk always survives every damn year. Well, yeah, because he gets a raise every year, because he gets the 6 wins, because wins over South Dakota State count. That's how he survives, and it doesn't matter there at Iowa. I'll never understand it, man.
It's a different, you know what?
And I'm calling it out on Iowa.
The
forever.
Iowa game, though, it's a different game, and to Rogelio's point, it's always ugly. Right? It's all they play like 6 wins with 8+ punt. Like it's an ugly game. It's almost like if I was compared to wrestling, right? It's that power wrestling technician with the strong style, with the holds, stuff like that's going to wrestle you, versus a luchador, which is a guy that's flip-flopping all over, jumping. It's 2 different styles, right? They want to pull you in the mud. That's the only way they know how to play, and sometimes good teams get stuck in the mud, right? Like they're consistent to the point. It's always an ugly game, especially when they're at home, right? It's ugly. You have to win an ugly game. It's never a pretty game versus Iowa. They don't play pretty.
Who gets a field goal and 2 safeties in a game? Who does that?
That's money, dude.
Oh, hell
What was the over-under on more than +1 safety? I'm just looking at the eye.
Who does that? Bradley K, YouTube chat thread. Whoa, Neal, whoa. Did you forget that Iowa's visitors' locker room is painted pink? I know the visitor locker room is painted pink, and it's such a hard game to go to Iowa and win. Stop. Is it hard? Is it hard to beat a team that kicks a field goal and gets 2 safeties against South Dakota State? Come on, man. They're an embarrassment, dude. They're an embarrassment. They set the game back. Do you think... You know what I think our government should do is when they're interrogating people at Guantanamo Bay, you put that over the speakers. You put them in a room and just run an Iowa game over and over and over again. After about 20 minutes, they'll give you any information you want on anybody in the world. The Russia thing will be solved.
Is that by far like the the top of your list for worst things you'd have to listen to?
Oh, no question.
Really?
No question. Just see. I mean, just to watch that.
Yeah, that. Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow, we might have to go Freud a little bit. That's a deep issue. It might be. Did something happen? Back when you were 10 years old in an Iowa game that you never could forget, or is it just always because
every week there's something that happens that you'll never forget?
You know what it is? It's because of the facade. Right?
That's exactly what bothers me, dude.
You're like, good. Man, look at this.
They're a good program.
You're going, oh my God, they're the belle of the ball and whatever like this, and you're looking at it going, what are you talking about? That's rags. There's rags there. So what's not rags?
Gypsy vodka, number one. Number two, the mulligan made with gypsy vodka. It's not a coincidence. It is the official drink of summer. And hey, we got a couple days left of summer. I know Labor Day came and went. It's going to warm back up. God, the weather sucked
it did.
On Sunday, didn't it?
Yeah.
God, it sucked out there. But hey, would have felt better if you were knocking back a couple of mulligans made with gypsy vodka. People were still out on the golf course. They were still out there knocking down the mulligan because it was calling their name. Ask for the mulligan at your local golf course or at a Total Wine store near you. And don't forget about the OG Goated on the vodka sticks. It is gypsy vodka. Ask for it by name. As always, drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. Get all the best deals. They'll beat competitors' pricing by at least $5, and you can take a look at all the unlimited tanning options. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest hands. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one of their 26 Metro Detroit locations work best for you. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Off and running. New week here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, that guy, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, 0-time Stanley Cup champion, Sam Flannel in the building as well, Spencer Raxter.
But he will kill those guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
that's right.
Not off guard.
Happy to have you guys with us. And yes, it is a Lions game week. We're gonna go in on the Lions a little bit later on in the show. I do want to deep dive into the first week of college football. Can we do this real quick, Spence?
Yeah.
You'll YouTube flash poll. Do we want to do Michigan first or Michigan State first? I'll give people about 3 minutes to vote on that one. You choose your own adventure here on Big D Energy. We're versatile like that. I'll do what the people want. You want Michigan first, you want Michigan State first. But we are wrapping up that Iowa discussion. And in the YouTube chat thread, Avery says it's funny because they play that way, but they've had 10 wins 2 of the last 3 years, went 6-2 in the COVID year. I don't know how they even win. Well, I mean, it's easy when you drill down on it because there's lots of wins over Indiana and Kent State and Maryland and stuff. You know, the same way all the Big Ten teams get those numbers. It's all the same way all the time. Because we see them all the time, we value them. Like, I bet if you surveyed Big Ten country and said, is Iowa a good team? I bet 60% of the people would say yes. Probably even 70% would say Iowa's a good team. And they're not.
No, but the thing about Iowa is the one thing I will say, they churn out offensive linemen like it's no joke. Riley Reef, Brandon Sheriff, Tyler Lindenbaum, Tristan Wirfs. Those are some dudes in the trenches, and that's how they win some of those games.
And tight ends.
Tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Noah
But
Fant.
that explains why they get the rub. because when it comes draft time, when it comes down to NFL fantasy time, which you're doing your draft picks right now for your fantasy league, and you can pick more Iowa guys, or you see more Iowa guys on rosters. Hey, look at, Riley Reef, Iowa. When you Monday Night Football, it's repetitive in your brain that you hear Iowa a lot more than a lot of other teams. Even, to say some SEC teams. If you look at the production of NFL guys, so I think subconsciously, right, you expect Iowa because they produce NFL guys. Well, they have to be better no matter what, even doing a deep dive into it, right? So you're just saying that, no, it's a facade. Now, Neal, let me ask you honestly, like some years they have to be good or better or near the top as a top 4. It's always Wisconsin, right? It's Ohio State, Michigan, right? Then it's Michigan, and then in Michigan State, depending on where they were, Wisconsin, right? And then Iowa's in that conversation right down there. So they're
until they play somebody, then they get cooked, and it's over.
Each year. But the reason why we think maybe that they're better is because they produce better than some college football teams that's records produce better.
All right. Final couple seconds here. The YouTube chat there. Michigan State had a lead in the poll, and Michigan has closed lately. Got about 15 more seconds to get those votes in, and we'll do it. We'll go one way or the other. Michigan starting to tick up there now at 57%. And let's shut it down, Spence. There you go. So there you have it. We're going Michigan first. They get the win over Colorado State. And look, I'll lead things off here, and we'll go around the room and just kind of get everybody's initial impressions. But for me, and I think I'm being fair and I'm being consistent, and Sam Flannel's a Michigan fan. He can mark me on this. What I have said in the past, leading into this season, it's very simple. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do with who they play, how the schedule sets up. And I don't blame them. Everybody put your swords down. I don't blame them, because I would do the same thing if I were a coach, because there's no reward for playing a tough schedule. The only thing that can happen is bad from playing a tough schedule. So I get it. There's nothing they can do to influence me. It's a 3-game season for Michigan. Hopefully for them, it's a 3-game season where it's Michigan State, Ohio State, and then maybe a Big Ten championship game if you get there. It's the same as last year. I'm consistent about it. There's nothing they're going to show me in playing Colorado State or my poor Hawaii team that's trying to dig out of a coaching change and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing that they can show me, Dean. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel.
So what do you refer to me as? I'm like what kind of fan?
You're the average college football fan.
Joe average college fan, right? So when I turned on, and I will say this when I use my analysis of Michigan State, but when I turned on the Michigan game, I wanted just to see, did I see something different? And I don't know, I asked you this before the show, but I think that what I saw as far as, talent-wise, execution-wise, different things like this, that this Michigan team's built a little differently than it was last year, right, where it was Cade's team. The long story short, to me, the offense and the way the team, it looked more like it was built to be J.J. McCarthy's offense, where you got to get the ball. You got a lot of different guys that can make plays. You got to get it out, maybe take your shots here and there. It's not that as ground and pound. That's I could be out of line or whatever like that. So I don't think it was as much as the quarterbacks compete with each other, but what's around them and who does it favor more? And to me, and I know everybody's saying about, Cade coming out and not executing and stuff like this, but to me, the team looked different. Like the offense looked different. You know what I'm saying? And it looked more that it needed to be more free throwing. It looked like more like Cade deserved to, or JJ deserved to be in there. Last year when I looked at Michigan, right, I'd look at it the same way and go, well, that's Cade's team. He's got to protect the ball and the way that they work. So
something just popped in my head when you were saying that, D-Mac. Would you say that, and I've heard you describe Sergei Fedorov this way before, that he's a Ferrari out there on the ice. Would you say that this Michigan offense this year is a little more Ferrari to where last year was more Chevy Tahoe, Cadillac Escalade?
Hummer, more like that. And it's the same thing, I think, when you're looking at Michigan State when we talk about them too. But yes, you're dealing with, I think that on the whole vehicle, don't just look in the driver's seat. Right? Don't look at the quarterback, but look as a whole. And I think that what you say is more of a luxury vehicle this year.
Yeah, Sam Flannel, we got to go to you. First off,
crush somebody, Sam.
Yeah.
Crush somebody.
Give it to me, Sam Flannel.
Okay, so to me, my main takeaway, to the surprise of absolutely no one, is Cade McNamara. To me, Cade McNamara proved that he is exactly what I thought he was, what he has always been. I think we all agree that Cade McNamara was pretty mid. I would say terrible, but mid at the absolute best. And they won 51-7, and Cade McNamara had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Well, hold on, because I keep seeing that on social media, right? And I hear Mike G on the YouTube chat there, Michigan do what we do, seek and destroy, go blue. Well, this Colorado State team, their coach left and took like 18 players with them and 9 coaches. Colorado State and Hawaii are very, very similar into what happened, with coaches leaving, players leaving, and they're an expansion team. Like, that's what they were.
No, I understand that. I get it. They also got some players from Nevada, to be fair. But my point was more that Cade McNamara is exactly who I thought he was. He didn't play well. He missed a lot of throws, many to Cornelius Johnson to begin the game. If I were Cornelius Johnson, I'd be like, what the hell, I'm open. But they still won 51-7, and that's kind of what they did last year. Cade McNamara completes less than 10 passes, has a 50% completion percentage, has a dropped interception in the red zone. The offense absolutely stagnated every single time they got to the red zone with Cade McNamara, and they still won 51-7. That's kind of what Cade McNamara was last year, a guy who was very limited, a game manager who got way too much credit for team accomplishments when the defense played really well. I don't care if it was against Colorado State. The defensive line got home. Mozzie Smith, Mike Smith.
Well, yeah, I mean, the NFL draft says that it was a good defensive line / defense.
Yeah.
The NFL draft says that.
But they had to prove it. They had to show it. This is what they're supposed to do against teams like Colorado State. All these guys are supposed to show out. Mozzie Smith is supposed to, become that disruptive defensive lineman for being the number one freak coming into the year, and he did. The defensive line was attacking the quarterback. The defense was flying to the football. And Cade McNamara did absolutely nothing, just like he did last year. That touchdown to Roman Wilson was all Roman Wilson. It was a bubble screen. And then when J.J. McCarthy came into the game, that just showed an entire different element. You can actually keep the ball and run on an RPO. He did it for a touchdown. I know that's a novel thing.
Hey, ask Georgia. Ask Georgia about the RPO. We'll talk about them in a little bit.
We'll talk about them later. My goodness. But he did it. He got a touchdown. He got a couple first downs. To kind of paraphrase Justin Slanik, J.J. McCarthy's blazing. He is blazing. And he made a couple of really good throws. That, hash throw to A.J. Henning, that was about 5 or 6 yards. So it didn't really matter. But it was still an NFL-level throw. The offense, especially in the red zone, just functioned differently when J.J. McCarthy was in there. And I look forward to him just putting up numbers next week against Hawaii and never, ever seeing Cade McNamara as a starting quarterback at Michigan again. I know that that's not a lot of people's takeaways, but my takeaway is Cade McNamara was terrible. He's done, but he is exactly who he has always been. Another win while completing less than 10 passes. I didn't think he had it in him. I was prepared to give him credit, but I will give him no credit because he sucked. He just did, and Michigan still won 51-7. That's my takeaway.
We're going to get Spencer Raxter's take in just a second, and I do want to address this too because we get this every time I talk about Michigan's schedule. We get this. So stick around for that because you don't want to miss it. But let me tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast is called This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl and all the other addictions that, let's be real, everybody, they're plaguing our communities as we speak. If you're struggling, if you know somebody else who's struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com. The Sports Marketing Agency, they are here to help.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it, you've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play. You can stay there open until close, have a good time. They also have private lane reservation, $120, 10 to 12 people. You get your own lane, and you can bring any type of food you want. If you get thirsty, they have a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You pop in $2, pops you out a good beer, no hassle, no fuss needed. If you know what you want or you want to make a decision, there are multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you come down to Hamtramck, check them out in person, or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
On and poppin', Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Spencer Rexter, Sam Flannel as well. Happy you all are with us. Remember, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Jump in that chat thread, get your thoughts out there as we read them, as we roll on. I did want to get kind of the other side's perspective. And we'll do this next segment, too, when we talk about Michigan State. We'll get Sam Flannel's take on it, because these are two slappies for their side. Self-admit slappies. Spence, a self-admitted Michigan State slappy. Sam Flannel on the other side. But, Spence, what about that, man? As a Michigan State slap, what was your take on the Michigan game?
I already said I think Michigan's going to win this year. I think they will beat us. I think they have a better team. But
that didn't answer the question.
Wait,
is that your preface to every answer this year right
He's
now?
conditioned.
I'm ready for it. I think it's going to happen. But Cade looked terrible. Like you guys said, it's terrible. It is JJ's team. As D-Mac said, this offense is built for a guy that can sling it. They have a lot of playmakers on the outside. I put out a tweet there that, like, I understand what Michigan's doing with their starting wide receivers when they started Cade. You know, they have these guys who are going to be yak guys, who are going to be catch and run guys. But if I was a Michigan fan and I knew Andrell Anthony was standing on the sideline for 3/4 of that game, I would be upset, because I don't have a quarterback that can get the ball down the field to probably the best playmaker on the offense.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the arm talent. So I said, I guarantee JJ starts against my Hawaii. I guarantee Andrell Anthony goes for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And you know what, D-Mac, we were talking during the break. In that Hawaii game, I got the feeling that they're going to set this up for JJ to close this deal, and he's going to be spinning it against Hawaii. Now, Hawaii's defense isn't as bad as everybody says that it is. It's kind of hard when the offense is giving up touchdowns. But that's my point, though. From a game plan perspective, because you know how Michigan rolls, right? They'll get up 21 or get up 17, and then they'll kind of matriculate the ball down the field. I don't think you're going to see that this week. I think you're going to see JJ out there spinning it.
So do you think this is played out to what Harbaugh wanted it to play
deep in his soul?
Deep in his soul.
That place he wouldn't talk about publicly? Yeah, I think so.
I think so, too. I think this is what he wanted, and now he's going to let the kid go out. Now the kid still's got to go out and play, and we got to see him slinging it. And to Spence's point, showing, right? Show us all these weapons that we think we have. But was I seeing something that you guys didn't see, or is this a different offense this year?
No, I do. I think there's more sex. There's more sex appeal.
Weapons. We gotta. So I think Harbaugh realized this. I think this. I'm going to give him credit. I think this is the best. When he took the 30,000-foot view, how was he going to get here? Right. And how is he going to get here so the rest of us as Michigan fans or people that watch this see what he sees? Or say, because he doesn't want, it's not going to benefit the team if it's like, if half the fan base is I want Cade and the other half is I want JJ. I think after this game, do you not think that 90% will be like, okay, it's JJ's team now? That's what they're going for. That's the game plan. So 300 yard, like air it out and don't, get up 3-4 scores like they usually do, but keep pressing.
Keep spinning.
Because
and that's what they're going to do.
Also too, right, which is the whole point that we mentioned. They did put up 51 against Colorado State, and saying no matter what's in front of you, they have to put up points against these teams because they want to show some of this dominance. But also too, if this machine of Michigan and the offense is supposed to roll like this with the talent, Get out there and show it. Build the confidence. Give the kids the confidence. Let's go.
On the YouTube chat thread, and this kind of backs up to your point here, AC says Donovan Edwards ran for 60 yards against Colorado State. I thought he was a superstar. Yeah, I mean, he got out-touched. Blake Corum had 13 carries. He only had 12. And, yes, I do think he's a superstar. But you guys are seeing this with the quarterback position. Of course, you're going to see it with the running back position, too. It's funny to me because I was skeptical of Ohio State to some degree. And I walked out of watching and listening to that Notre Dame game more confident in Ohio State than when I went in, which is a weird statement to say, but it's true. Because when it was time, they put their hands in the dirt and they ran through Notre Dame. They ran through them, rushing attack, pounding them, really just giving it and going. Because like the Donovan Edwards things, when you look at TreVeyon Henderson, he's going to be the dude, right, for Ohio State. Like he's going to be the dude, right, Sam Flannel? Mark me on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is no Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards at Ohio State. As long as he's healthy, he's the guy.
Well, Mayan Williams.
Yeah, Mayan Williams.
He got some carries.
He did. I know, and I understand that. I understand that he did. But I'm saying though, when you extrapolate this over the course of the season, there's going to be a clear one there.
Yes, 100%.
You bring my question in.
You don't get there with Michigan.
What you saw out of Ohio State is that, and first game of the year against Notre Dame, the last thing Ryan Day wanted to do was to have to go to the well but he had to go to the well. Notre Dame pushed that game, and it wasn't more of panic. It was more of, this is what we have to do. To your point, is that their bread and butter is on the ground.
Well, it's just the narrative is that they're a soft team and a finesse team and stuff like that. And they busted Notre Dame in the mouth.
That when it came down because that game was in the balance.
Right.
I mean, first half they're down. Even through the third quarter, they weren't moving the ball. They weren't doing things. But then when they needed to, they got it done. And you're saying that you saw some things
that I had questions about
that you thought Ryan Day would correct, and that's the softness of the offensive and defensive line.
But it all goes back to what you were saying, D-Mac, about how this offense is more like a Ferrari for Michigan, just in terms of the Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum thing. There are a lot of tools at the disposal.
You got Ronnie Bell back too. You got guys that are sitting on the bench that that utilize their speed, and like there's weapons there. It's how are we going to utilize it? And I think it's apparent. So this is a bigger game, just execution-wise. Not to, we expect to, don't know what the spread is, but to play Hawaii. But this is it's sort of like not a tune-up game. It's a college game, but something where we're looking for JJ to put numbers up, and we're coming in here next Monday, right? And we're looking at each other going, okay, it's his guy. And even Sam Flannel, who he knows that's his guy, we're sitting back going, Sam, you're right. That's what we're looking for out of this Hawaii game.
I mean, D-Mac, you kind of touched on something that I don't think is getting talked about enough. If I'm a Michigan wide receiver right now, I'm not feeling very happy with how Cade McNamara played. And if he becomes the starter moving forward, you might be thinking you're second guessing.
You're second guessing your leader, right?
Absolutely, because Ronnie Bell coming back, supposed to be wide receiver number one catch for 9 yards. A guy like Andrew Anthony, who had the single best game by a Michigan wide receiver last year, 1 catch for 5 yards. Eric All, who's supposed to be a dark horse Mackey candidate, although I think Brock Bowers will win that one going away, 1 catch for 22 yards. Cornelius Johnson, who actually led the team in receiving last year, 2 catches for 19 yards. And even Roman Wilson, he got that 61-yard touchdown off that bubble screen, but for the rest of the game, you're expecting to have a big game. Yeah. 2 catches for 65 yards total, 1 catch for 4 yards after that. If I'm a Michigan wide receiver and Cade McNamara is named the starter going forward, I'm kind of questioning, should I even be here? Should I transfer? So I think Michigan is going to actually put up numbers next week, and I think at that point, all of the public sentiment, all of his teammates will be all on J.J. McCarthy's side because, like you said, Neal, it's set up that way.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
You know where you'd see that, and whoever's covering practice would be able to know. It's just that if the first subtle is the effort. Not that guys aren't going to make the effort, but when you see guys like he's talking about, the talented guys in drills with JJ going above and beyond, or
well, body language tells a story in practice. Body language
tells a huge story
in practice,
but especially in college, right? Yep. Because you're not a professional, so you haven't learned or been taught the mental side, the business side, stuff like this. So everything's emotional. You know, you're an emotional kid too, so stuff like this. So, you know what? I'm going to give Jim Harbaugh the benefit of the doubt, right? Because if it's what he's done and the way it's sort of played out, and if I'm going to talk to you and bounce things off you, and you're going to tell me, okay, this looks low key, that he's not going to, the old conversation that you're not going to have, but you have with yourself, is that I think it's played out. Now, the bottom line is JJ's got to go out and execute, or else if he doesn't and we have questions, then we're in the same position next Monday.
Right, absolutely. And I did want to touch on this real quick too, on the YouTube chat thread, where people bring up the fact, Patty Grimes says Alabama has 3 out-of-conference cupcakes too. Alabama every year, like this year, they're playing at Texas. And we all laugh at Texas and things like that. But I don't see a line of people wanting to go mix it up with Texas at Texas in a road game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they play somebody every year. And again, you guys got to get out of this mindset, man, because everyone not Alabama is a cupcake to Alabama, except for Georgia. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they're a
absolutely.
20-point favorite at Texas.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm debating it on Friday's show. You have to tune in to see. I think that's absurd. Absurd that Texas is a 20-point favorite at home in a program that's desperate to show that, quote, we're back.
20-point underdog?
Yeah. You know, give me that. My initial reaction to that is, give me that all day.
Well,
give me that all day.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
my initial reaction.
But I think it's more too is that your paradox is going to what Vegas is telling you how good Alabama is, no matter where they play.
Right.
Right. That's not. We're not just talking plus 10. We're talking
three touchdowns. You're talking 3 touchdowns, man.
I know which in college it goes to the dominance, and you nailed it. It's either Alabama or Georgia. But you know what also is dominant? Oh, you know the haircutting game. You know where to go. Come to Lady Jane's. Haircut for Men for award-winning haircut experience. And it's your last month, yes, last month to register to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Neal Ruhl here for oddstrader.com, the #1 site for your game day betting activities, if you will. Play-by-play updates, live scores, and most importantly, I think anyway, the best price on every game from multiple sports books. You like Texas, getting all them points? Shop around. And no, you don't have to open one up on your phone, open the next one up, go back, open another one up, go back. None of that. It's all right there in front of you with oddstrader.com. Go to oddstrader.com right now and find your best bet. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here in the building. Taking a lot of heat, man, about the Texas covering. And guys, look, I bring this up a lot, right? I work in college sports. You go in these environments. It's not linear, guys. It's not, well, Texas struggling at the quarterback position. It's much more than that with this game for them. This is a line in the sand game for them as a program. And I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying that. They will have all-out effort, and that environment's going to be electric. a la the Texas A&M environment last year when Alabama went in there too. That these places are snake pits, man. Snake pits. It's you know what? It's a lot like, and I'm sure you remember this. Certain OHL buildings on the road are hard to play at.
Well, you know, I was even going to go back to Joe Louis Arena.
Yeah.
Especially like playoff time, or the way that the atmosphere, and anybody who has been there for a playoff game is home ice advantage is a thing. But yeah, you mentioned OHL. Now the difference is Joe Louis Arena is 20,000. The OHL building's what? 3,000?
Yeah.
Maybe 4,000, but it's rabid. I mean, are you kidding me? Windsor, across the way here, the old Windsor ice rink, man, they used to throw batteries and pennies and I mean, the London Knights, Windsor Spitfires games, like the fights in the stands like crazy all the time.
Yeah.
It could be Canada, though.
Yeah, AC says Ewers isn't Johnny Manziel. Relax, Neal. I was talking about the Texas A&M game last year. I got a lot of the same vibes, guys. I'm telling you. You know what? This Universal, I might have to put it out there to get right. We'll see if that number trips a wire.
Yeah,
I'm jumping
Neal,
in.
Isn't it because it's more of the University of Alabama versus the state of Texas? You know,
and like, there's all that. That's an angle.
There's so many.
That's
other
an
things
angle
that
of
go
it. Make no
on.
mistake.
And here's the thing: as a professional athlete, as somebody who learned how to win, had stuff like this for the mentality to walk in there. So for pro athletes to walk in, it's one thing, but also college is that you're not mentally. You're, for lack of a better term, your war face, your game hasn't evolved, right? To understand that. I couldn't imagine playing, being these college kids playing the big house, 100,000 people. I mean, it takes, some people don't react that way. Just because you have the natural God-given talent, it takes you time to be comfortable in front of people, right? Everybody's nervous that guy in section 318, row 7 is laughing at him. Gives a crap, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a mentality to being a professional going into a hostile environment where you learn how to play. That's just the way it is, as opposed to a college. And I think that's where you're saying it's not linear, but there's all these other things that go into it. And we've seen it more times in the past. It goes back to the beginning. How do teams, it's like Iowa playing that ugly game. Well, they have a certain, from the pink in the dressing room, but there's a certain, even going in there, where it's a mud pit. It's gonna drag you down. It's almost like it's going to play in a tar pit. Well, going in Texas is
and those people are starved, man.
Well, that's what
They're
I'm
starved.
saying. And to your point, Neal,
and that's got nothing to do with the players. I'm talking about the environment.
This is bigger than that, because you know what, right? Didn't Texas used to be one of the bells of the ball? When Vince Young and stuff like this back in the SEC, they got something to prove.
They're exactly like Michigan, except with the championship this millennium.
Right, so they got something bigger to prove. It's still the fan base, right?
What was incorrect about that?
No, that's true. It's just funny.
Oh, well, it's
funny to hear. Was it a tone thing?
No.
It was a tone thing, but it was also too the facts and the tone. Because if you wanted to say, man, yeah, but you know what? The thing is, I'd rather be Texas because they at least won something the last 10 years. That would be a little hard.
Yeah. So. Wrap up the Michigan stuff. Turn our attention to Michigan State. They win and cover against Western Michigan.
Yep.
Again, that's not opinion being interjected. That is a fact.
And
fair. I was once told good teams win, but great teams cover. Mm-hmm. And Michigan State did cover.
Yeah.
It wasn't sexy. It wasn't pretty. But you know what? I would think if you asked me in totality, if you said, Neal, what was your take on Michigan and Michigan State this weekend? I would say they were both very on brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mark me on this, Spence.
No, you're right. And if you take out that third quarter, like, if MSU did anything in that third quarter, that would have been a great win. Like, they just scored zero.
But you can't take out the third quarter. It's a quarter of the game.
So, that's what I'm saying. It's, it wasn't awe-inspiring, but, we lost Darius Snow. We lost Xavier Henderson. That's going to hurt a lot. Xavier Henderson looks like he'll probably miss the rest of the year. And those are two of our best defenders. Xavier Henderson, by far our best player in the secondary. So that's not good. We're going to have some guys are going to have to step up in the back end of that defense for sure. But you look like Peyton Thorne, he missed some open targets, but he still went for 233 yards and 4 touchdowns. You had Jalen Berger and Jarek Broussard both have good games. Jalen Berger was over 100. He was 120 yards and a touchdown. Broussard went for 54 yards. And then the wide receiving corps is what stood out to me. Like, I expected them to be better, but Keon Coleman looked great. Trey Mosley looked great. Jaden Reed didn't even really do anything. He only had, 2 catches for 31 yards. Both of the tight ends looked good. Barker had a great catch in the end zone. He had that one-handed snag in the end zone. Malik Carr didn't do much, but he looked like he improved a lot from last year, so I'm excited for those tight ends rooms. And then the defense, Jacoby Windman won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, National Defensive Player of the Week, and Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Defensive Player of the Week.
Probably the most important one.
He had 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Like, these
are transfer portal,
another transfer
right?
portal guy. Yeah, it's Tuck's doing it.
Here, that's the thing. What it showed to me is what we've heard about Tuck's dominance continuing on the transfer portal. Last year, Kenneth Walker. This year, this kid. So he's staying active there. Also, too, speaking about Kenneth Walker, is Peyton Thorne. Your training wheels are off. Your security blanket in your running game, you're going to have to step up a little bit more. I mean, the blessing, there's positives to take from it, but there's also negatives. You want to go somewhere, Peyton Thorne's got to become more confident, right? He's got to take control of this team. Again, his decision making was weak, right? But there is potential there. I thought it was a gritty. I thought that was sort of like what they did to be able to bounce back from it being a tough situation because everybody's on them. They know it's Western at home and they're not hammering the way they is, but they stuck to it. There's something there. The injuries is something of concern, but the big thing that I got is Peyton Thorne showed flashes, but he's got to be a lot better for this team to be successful. But Mel Tucker, just the things, the intangibles outside of the game of putting this team together, he's got his finger on the pulse of that transfer portal. So, like you said, stats in this case show you, and it reminded me. You know what it reminded me of? It was like last year. I mentioned this watching Michigan and Ajabu and Hutchinson. On defense, just pushing in the backfield and stuff like this. I watched Michigan State and was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's always in the backfield. So that, if he's your Kenneth Walker, it's on defense this year and they need it.
2 best players of the game for Michigan State. Berger, for, like I said, 120 yards and a touchdown, transfer portal. Jacoby Windman, 4 sacks and a forced fumble, transfer portal. And so Tucker, you go out and get talent.
It's part of the game. That's what is showing exactly the new way to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I got from Michigan State.
Tommy Williamson, YouTube chat thread. LMAO, I knew they would spin the Michigan State game. I don't get what I was spinning about it. I thought it was on brand.
Yeah, they won by 22 points. It was 21-3 after the first half. I don't understand.
But, I mean, here's why it was on brand. Because Western Michigan had the ball down 8 at the end of the game. I mean, they did. They did have the ball.
They sucked in the third quarter. Western won the third quarter 10-0.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
But it's on brand. It's Michigan State, man.
They do it every year.
I didn't really learn anything about them in the YouTube chat thread as well. And here's what I don't understand. Mark Royal, how many championships does Michigan State have, Neal? When was I talking about that? I don't get that, man.
Yeah,
I don't get the schedule thing with Alabama, and I don't get the
Michigan. Said Texas is like Michigan, except they got to win in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
so
they got a championship this millennium. That's what they are. Those programs are very good comps. You hear about how great they were.
I agree.
They are. I've always said that. Texas is the Michigan of the Big 12. All right, Sam Flannel, we did it for Spence, talking about Michigan, our resident Michigan Slappy.
Sorry, I just wanted to put out, to answer his question. Michigan State has 3 national championships. Their last one was in 1966. But, we don't go around saying we're one of the best teams in the country. We're the greatest college football team ever. There's levels.
All right, so we'll go to our resident Michigan Slappy, Sam Flannel. The floor is yours. Evaluate Michigan State.
Well, before I get started, I just have to point something out.
But you didn't win a Tony Award, man. Like we just want your take on the Michigan State game.
Hey, all this praise that Michigan State is getting for the transfer portal. How about Victor Oluwatimi and Ayabi Anoma for Michigan? They were pretty big game breakers in that game.
We're talking Michigan State now.
Yeah.
You obviously were more interested in your boy JJ being number one than the transfer portal.
Okay,
guys.
You thank the committee. All right, now move on.
What
about us?
I'm just saying, Mel Tucker gets like coming every time he gets a transfer. And okay, anywho.
What about us?
I will move on.
Be a professional, Sam Flannel.
Okay, fair enough. Jacoby Windman looked like Will Anderson in that game. I'll admit it. He's going to be a problem, and Jalen Berger.
But it was against Western Michigan.
Yes, of course. And Jalen Berger and Jarek Broussard pretty much combined for Kenneth Walker numbers. So that is definitely scary. You can definitely spin Peyton Thorne's performance because he was inconsistent, good at times, but he was also a 50% completion percentage. That's not going to get it done, but I think he will do better because I actually think Peyton Thorne is a pretty good quarterback. Spencer mentioned the wide receivers, not even Jaden Reed, who I think is going to be great this year. Keon Coleman, Trey Mosley, if they can get something out of them, Michigan State could be a problem. But I do think, Spencer, you're kind of like being a little bit too flippant about the fact that it was 21-13 and Western Michigan was driving. That's not something that you can just disregard as nothing. And I kind of feel like you're doing it a little bit as, they just lost the third quarter. But
they did.
They did, but Western Michigan was looking like they could go down and tie this thing.
But we won the game by 22 points, and it was 21-3 at halftime.
And I think your first point is valid. Your last point about 21-3 at halftime.
Both teams covered the spread. Anybody else happy around here? I mean, holy cow. Do we not start with there's 20-point spreads and stuff like this plus that? So...
No, they did cover, and like I said, Jacoby Windman's going to be a problem. Their running backs looked good, which I thought was going to be a concern with Kenneth Walker leaving. But I do think Michigan State, with their schedule, is going to be an 8-win football team. Just because I think they're going to lose to Washington, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio State. They have a tougher schedule.
Here's my question for you, Spence, is my initial thought and my initial reaction is Peyton Thorne a good enough quarterback to win with Kenneth Walker? Yeah. We saw it. That's the resume. Is Peyton Thorne a good enough quarterback to go on the road at Michigan and be the guy and win? Where everybody knows it going in, where he's the focal point. I don't get that vibe.
Yeah, he's going to have to prove that for sure. I think he has the downfield passing talent. Like some of those balls he was throwing were nice. He was dropping dots in there, but like Sam said, he was inconsistent. He was a 50% completion percentage. So you can chalk that up to new receivers. You can chalk it up to first game of the season, but flat out he just has to be better.
Because I followed it up until halftime. They're up 21-3. Went out with the family for Friday night and kind of didn't check back in. I pulled it up later, and Western's got the ball down in. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And then I turned the game on, and then Michigan State closed down the club there. But yeah, on brand. That's what I expect from Michigan State.
Yeah.
That is. That's what I expect. Real quick, Robert Colosia, Neal, Mountain West Minute. How awful is Brady Hoke? Granted, San Diego State was over 100 degrees, and the new stadium has 0 shade, so home field disappeared, but this new quarterback didn't throw the ball. It was a rough weekend for the Mountain West.
Brady Hoke's coach in the Mountain West?
Yeah, San Diego State.
Wow.
They lost to Arizona.
Hey, I got to bring in Jack Harrington. He also says, remember, Sam said Nebraska's going to win 9 games, and he was a Scott Frost guy, too. So take that into consideration.
You know what? Hey,
everything with a grain of salt.
You guys, our audience, the constituents of Big D Energy, I ask you for a favor. I'll ask for help when I need it. Never let Sam Flannel forget about Nebraska locking in 9 wins. Never forget about that, Jack Harrington. Never forget about that YouTube chat thread. Always bring that back up for the rest of the season. I count on you guys. I got a lot going on up here. Sometimes my mind wanders, but you guys always remember. And never forget that Sam Flannel told you Nebraska was back, Nebraska was good, and they suck too, just like Iowa. So never forget that. We got one more college football segment. I just want to take a spin around college football nationally. We're going to go heavy Lions in the second half of the show. I'm going to sneak a hockey thing in there too. The little interesting nugget that we came across too that we'll get D-Mac's take on. But we are doing it It feels good to be back here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Cintron's combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. We're going to be talking hockey for a minute in the next segment. Go to CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get your limited edition Red Wings themed Cintron 6-pack right now. You get to taste all the flavors, the cranberry classic and the sugar-free. Get energized with Cintron, and let's go Red Wings.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Neal Ruhl here to remind you about the Monroe Street Midway in downtown Detroit. It's open until September 25th. You still have time to check out the roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe environment for everybody, ages 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com for more information. See you at the Midway. Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. Real quick before we really get it, because it is a Lions game week, I just wanted to give college football its due. I thought it was very entertaining across the board. You saw some incredible ish go down all weekend long. It really was a lot of fun, and I did enjoy it, because let's be real, we're not doing that again for the next 17, 18 weeks. So everybody settle in. Dig in, y'all, because we're going to go in until January. But I just want to take a real quick spin around college football. Sam Flynn, anything stand out to you, man?
I mean, honestly, the Ohio State offense looking kind of stagnant for most of the game, that was pretty alarming to me. And the fact that Jackson Smith and Jigba was held 2 catches for 3 yards, I was shocked when I saw that stat line. But Notre Dame's going to be one of those teams that's going to win ugly, that's going to kind of muck it up. And they did that against Ohio State. So I was fairly impressed with them. But like you said, Neal, the fact that Ohio State, when the chips were down, where nothing was going their way, they were able to just put their hand in the dirt and go and run it down Notre Dame's throats. I thought that was big. It's not at all how I thought that game was going to go, but that was my main takeaway, just that Ohio State, they didn't look great. Their offense didn't look great, the passing game, but they still pulled it out. And
Double-digit win over Notre Dame.
Yeah. They're not going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be an ugly team to watch.
You're getting some Iowa vibes from Notre Dame.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
Neal, that's perfect.
D-Mac, what do you got from college football over the weekend?
The guy you mentioned, 2 catches, 3 yards, he was also hurt.
Yeah.
For most of the early part of the game or whatever. A couple things that I took away is, is that to the point that Ohio State pulled it out when they needed to pull it out? But again, freshman quarterback for Notre Dame. I'm always interested in freshman quarterbacks, and especially early on. I think he was 8 for 8. Took care of the ball. It's something that in the back of my mind, will this kid turn into something? That's what I look around, watching, is looking for names, and maybe that's a future guy. But had my attention that game longer than I thought. I thought Ohio State was like Notre Dame. I thought was in this game, especially the longer that it played into late in the third quarter.
People forget too, D-Mac. It's a big ask to ask a team, any team, Ohio State, whoever, it's a big ask to expect them week 1, first game, fire up the engines, be sharp. Now, granted, Georgia did it, and I'll talk about Georgia in a minute. Now, Georgia did it, but it's hard to walk in the door and be crisp, D-Mac.
No, I mean you would think that because then lights are bright and first time in a long time. You haven't. It's not like you don't have exhibition games. So you don't get to
ask Kate McNamara, man. Like it's tough to walk in there and do it.
You don't get to hit other people on other teams. Just sort of like we watching like Hard Knocks with the Lions going to Indianapolis. You can find something out about your team. So it's turning that switch on. I think to your point, if where we go to Georgia, and you mentioned them coming off, last year, that right there, that's culture. Right? That's culture to be able to have that machine rolling and knowing whatever else. Alabama. To a lot of the same degree, but Georgia really showed that winning pedigree coming out of the gates, right?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, because you know what it was almost like Kirby Smart just saying is that, we ain't giving you everybody's going to figure out their way in, LSU's, Florida State's, everybody's we're ready to play. We got the dogs and we're ready. And that, to me, that just comes out of competing with yourself and in the bubble. Right, the best teams that are sort of in their own bubble just worry about themselves. That's what you saw. Mm-hmm. Saw Georgia it didn't matter who was the other team. They were just executing and a well-oiled machine. And to your point, right, where you sort of expect college teams to have games maybe like Michigan or Michigan State where they don't play the 60 minutes or Ohio State, but Georgia to come out, that's got to be scarier for everybody else.
No doubt. Spence, real quick before I get yours, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I saw this here. AC said it in the YouTube chat thread. Mr. Kearney would be a better quarterback for Michigan than Cade. YouTube, can we YouTube chat poll that? Who would you rather see starting for Michigan, Mr. Kearney of the Warren Academy or Cade McNamara? Because I got a feeling Mr. Kearney's going to hold this one down. And they have that 7-on-7, field too, dome field. I bet Mr. Kearney could sling it. So
sure.
Spence will put that up on the YouTube chat. Still want to have some fun, guys. All right, still want to have some fun. But yeah, I know we're just kind of rapping and talking about it. For me, what I saw while Spence puts that up there, just to piggyback on Darren's comments about Georgia, and Sam Flannel. Here's where I'll get a little geeky on it. Some RPOs from Stetson Bennett. I mean, they look crispy, man. And look, this pains me to say, but Oregon is, and they just are, as much as I don't want it to be this way, they had their moment about a decade ago, but I get big Texas vibes from Oregon. It's not going to happen for them. I love the chrome helmets and all the uniform combos, and I've been to their campus a couple times, and it's great, and it's awesome, and I love it. And I want Oregon to be good so badly, but they're just not that guy, pal.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're not built for this. They're not ready to be competitive with the Georgias, with the Alabamas, and stuff like that. But the way that Kirby Smart, and this is where I think, and this is going to sound weird to say, because up until he showed us, I had questions about Kirby Smart until he answered them. And when he gets 5 stars in there and he's got Stetson Bennett at quarterback, he makes up his mind and they go. And that's it. And they
Which was a decision. You got to understand, he made coaching decisions even down to the final game last year and whatever,
right.
And in this offseason where he just pretty much said Stetson Bennett's going to be our guy. And there's still, that wasn't 100%.
And he went. He made a decision, and he went.
He did the opposite of what Harbaugh did, right? Where he laid claim to, this is my quarterback, this is my guy. And you look at the development. Neal, wasn't that and yeah, Stetson Bennett did what he needed to do to bring Georgia a national championship, but he seemed like there's a kid that was polished, that did some work in the offseason, bringing out, like you said, RPOs and stuff like this.
They changed an offensive philosophy.
Tools to the tool belt, right, around, and it was efficient. That's what it looked. It looked like looked like middle of the season, right? It looked like well-oiled machine, and obviously, well, they're national champions. What do you expect? What do you really expect? And to your point, I think Kirby Smart, that sort of question about him, can he get it done? He proved it. Is he a good coach? He's proven it. I think the one thing is Kirby Smart knows who Kirby Smart is as a coach right now.
Cocaine in our YouTube chat thread. Tell me more about this Mr. Kearney fella. Mike G.
I will.
Mr. Kearney runs RPO like a badass. And then there's some other talk, too. Jack Harrington says Oklahoma looked good in Venables' debut. To be determined. There wasn't much I was going to pull from that, so we'll see. And look, I'm not disparaging your comments or anything like that. Kevin in Muskegon, Georgia, is going to repeat. So now, Spence, we'll give you the floor. What'd you see, man?
Yeah, well, the Georgia thing, Georgia was crazy. They did to Oregon what Michigan did to Colorado State. That's the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC. LSU. Sorry, Brian Kelly, but the family didn't last too long. That was embarrassing. And Clemson will win another national championship in 5 years.
No.
Their freshman quarterback he's going to be legit.
I'm glad you reminded me of that.
Yeah, but their freshman, he looked legit.
Because DJ Uiagalelei ain't it, bro.
He was,
I know you sent the text and said he looked all right. No, he didn't.
He looked all right.
No, he didn't.
He was running the ball pretty well.
Georgia Tech's out there, dude.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. And that guy, get your resume ready.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to work out there.
Their freshman, that kid that came in, he was slinging. He had some crisp passes. He was running the ball well, too. That kid is going to win a national championship for Dabo Swinney.
Okay, and I'll ride with you on that. If you want to make that claim, that's a good wait to see.
Yeah.
We'll see
Wouldn't
that.
you be better off to go watch this kid for the Heisman Trophy in a few years instead of national championship? You're going right national championship.
Oh,
I like it. That's heavyweight stuff.
But I'll tell you this, though. Watch. Dabo Swinney won't dick around.
No.
100% he won't dick around.
Yeah.
Because I think Uiagalelei is cooked.
Yeah.
And like I said, you don't throw more picks than touchdowns and all of a sudden recover and go win a national championship. That's what you are.
Yeah.
He is what he is. We know what he is. And you bet your ass Dabo Swinney knows who he is.
Yeah.
You watch. A change is coming
that kid looked good, man. The ball was exploding out of his hand. He was more athletic than I expected him to be. He had some nice cuts, some nice runs. I think he's going to be Clemson's next star quarterback.
He's about to get Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant in it, right?
Yeah,
that already happened.
Avery says DJU is the worst quarterback on any major college football team. That's a little aggressive.
Would you rather
but he's
there it is.
No. He's closer to that than he is to the Heisman, though.
Yes,
I'll tell you that for damn
100%,
sure.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
For damn sure. So
who would you rather have, Cade or DJ?
Who would you rather have?
DJ Uiagalelei for sure. He's got the tools, and I actually think he played decent against Georgia Tech. I'm going to back you up, Spencer.
Yeah.
He wasn't terrible. He didn't have what
the quarterback crusher Neal
had.
No, I think I would take Cade McNamara.
Oh, come on.
I think I would.
No.
I think I would. Cade McNamara's not going to throw more picks than touchdowns.
He did in the last 3 games of last season. 1 touchdown, 4 picks.
Right, but over the course of a season, he's not going to do that, dude.
Well, you know what the good news is, gentlemen? Is that whoever you pick out of that bad choice department, you're going to pick Guardian Alarm every time, no matter what. That's something we all can agree here at Woodward Sports. Big D Energy. Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you peace of mind, whether you're home or on the road. 24-hour local monitoring makes sure what's important to you stays safe. So, you want to be part of the Big D Energy family, give them a call today. That's 1-800.
Stay out.
I said 1-800.
Stay out.
Give them a call. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. How many straight days of flannel?
127.
127 days of protecting the flannel. 1-800.
Stay out, Michigan State haters. I
house.
get it. They didn't win great, but they won by 22. It wasn't that bad. Calm down.
Stay out, not covering the spread.
Winning, they covered the spread. Stay out. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
It's a great day to get some sunshine in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Freebie time. Yeah, we got to be talking about Big Frog in Novi. Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. So just stop in, tell them that we sent you, and they will print you one up right on the spot. Go to Big Frog Novi today. Get your free t-shirt or visit them online. BigFrog.com/Novi.
Ribbit. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. Wrapping up our YouTube chat poll. Who would you rather see starting at quarterback for the University of Michigan? 60% of you would prefer Mr. Kearney, the principal at Warren Academy, over Cade McNamara. So I guess, if the tournament, we got to go DJU now versus Mr. Kearney. Who would you rather have in Michigan?
Hey, I'll tell you what, and this is real talk. I might want Alan Bowman as the second-string quarterback over Cade McNamara at this point.
What about Orgy?
Ooh, not quite.
Orgy in the end zone. Yeah, baby. RG3 nailing it. I mean, way to go, Michigan. Props off to you.
Mark Walston, I'd rather have Crystal with an X over Cade.
Ooh.
Man, this turned quickly against Cade. The guy got you a Big Ten championship, man, an appearance in the college football playoff.
Did he?
People understand that it wasn't him. It was the running game and defense, and Cade McNamara just didn't have to crash the Ferrari. Come on. Everybody knows that now.
Did he?
He did not. Not even a little bit.
All right, 3 of the first 45 picks in the NFL draft on defense, doesn't hurt the cause as well.
Yeah,
Son Haskins.
and what's his name? What's the safety's name? I can't remember.
Dax
Hill has been looking great for Cincinnati.
Yeah, so, it is that. But it is NFL game week, as we said. Right, absolutely. Brandon Katz, college football is more top-heavy than ever. No one has looked close to Bama or Georgia's level for a while. I know, and we're going to expand the playoff. That's really wild. But anyway, I digress. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the week. Mike G says the legend Killa is the QB filler. that is true as well. Game week, Detroit Lions, Eagles. It is here. We made it. And I'm just going to go in, D-Mac, and discuss it because I'm already getting concerned about some things. And I said this, we said this, you said this, Terry said this. I think D-Mac Lions fans have done a good job of kind of righting the ship.
Lions fans.
Where we saw people, winning the division, winning a playoff game. Orion Armani from Armani and Edwards with Maz. Calling,
oh my God, it's Ryan Armani.
Projecting they win the division. This is a test of a man's professionalism right now, where I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that and I'm going to move on. I'm not going to give in, Spence.
That was great.
I'm not going to laugh at it, as funny as it is. I'm not going to do it. But, D-Mac, I think people have done a good job kind of calibrating the expectations. I know when we get our first hit of hopium, we get fired up about it, but I think people have put themselves in check, no?
Well, yeah. No, I think that everything else is, we sort of wait and we realize that, okay, it's not the same old lines. The culture's changed. The work ethic and the message and the coaches in place is everything. But the talent just isn't there yet. There's still a lot of questions to be made. I know I had them 8-9 going through the schedule. We did our preseason picks. Really going into the first game of the year, I think Vegas has it more right that this is a 6 or 7 win team. I just don't see the improvements enough. I haven't seen the offense be as good as they're supposed to be yet. I haven't seen the defense be able to stop somebody. So
on brand.
It's on brand. It's on brand. Now, what I like is that we're going to see again tonight in the last episode of Hard Knocks is everything. It's the consistency of the message and the work ethic and the people that they're putting in place.
Right. But see,
so there's because you need that. Now, remember the clock. Don't forget the clock because it's been the off season, right? The clock is going to start. But I still got 17 games left before the end all be all. And
before the machetes come out.
Before the machete. Absolutely. It's in the car. Before the machetes come out. But we have, and we will see it. And I think that we've tempered the expectations, right? First week of the, right? We're this Philly team coming in, and whether I'm a Jalen Hurts guy or not, but the team that they have, they're going to be willing to play, and this is probably an L. But I'm eager to see how we compete. And you know what? Is it closer than I think? It's, something like this. But again, to my expectations, if I had them 8 and 9, I'm saying it's there's 6 or 7, and that's not a bad thing because the things that I saw in the culture and the work ethic and the coaching and all that stuff is way more important because I believe that the talent will eventually get in place and they'll get the right guys. You put my clock into your mouth. Right now you can after the first season. Sunday. That's it. Clock day. Stick it in.
Looted Corpse in our YouTube chat thread. Looted Corpse in our YouTube chat thread. Big V out 4 weeks. And Looted Corpse, that's the thing. I'm looking across the horizon right now, and we knew the Jameson Williams thing. That I don't count that. But you got Vaitai out. Romeo Okwara's out. Julian Okwara's questionable. Josh Paschal's out. Anzarique's Here we go. We haven't even started yet. And here we go. And that's not to say, look, I'm not bailing on it because you guys know this, and I'll continue to drive this home every single time. There are 2 separate entities going on with the Detroit Lions as an organization right now. 2 tasks that they had to adjust. Number 1, fix it financially. They're taking the last bite of the stale sandwich now. $18 million. Never forget this. $18 million going to Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins this year.
Oh, hell no.
Almost 10% of the cap. Never forget this, guys, because that's a part of it. For everyone that jumped up and down and pounded the table about free agency and stuff like that, one is with the other. And I know you get a faction of people because we saw an adjustment made with Taylor Decker's contract, and you see people going, the salary cap's not real. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is real. It's very simple what they did. And the Lions have that luxury to do that because, as I said, 2024, $92 million in cap space with your offensive line signed, your quarterback signed, and all your first-round picks signed. That's what they have. So they have this luxury where they can kind of delay and kick the can down the road a little bit. So they're going to do these types of things. It's just, for me, the injuries are already a concern. And let's be real. In the real world, they're a concern for everybody. Because when we do these projections and you say they're going to win the division, you're assuming, in effect, everyone's going to stay healthy for an entire season. That's not reality in the National Football League. And we're seeing it already. And these guys, those names, D-Mac, that I just listed off, those are guys you have to have. If you're the Lions with this defense right now, you have to have those names to compete. I'm talking about compete with Aaron Rodgers and win divisions and win road games in New England and Dallas. You have to have those guys because with this linebacking core, the way it's set up, it ain't good enough.
No, it ain't good enough, and it was proven that. And you need the availability of having the roster because you don't have the luxury of being another team with the depth. Now, it's going to give an opportunity. I think with Vaitai going down, it's going to give Evan Brown, who's proved last year how valuable he is. I think that we've played with Vaitai without him before. I think last year he might have been, one of those he was the guy that was more valuable to the offensive line, I think, than he got credit for. But I think that with the way that this is developed, if we're going to take a hit at any of our positions, you don't want to, but we can sustain it on the offensive line. We have no room at all to lose anybody on defense because you don't. That's how rare it is, and I think that's going to be what is one thing, Neal, that you're holding on to, but is true in the back of your mind, but not. It's the linebackers and the secondaries still.
That's
not
what it all
there.
comes back to.
It all comes back to it because at the end of the day, what do the best teams and the best quarterbacks in this league? When it comes down to what is the NFL last possession game? What do we always talk about? Oh, look at the fourth quarter drive, whatever like this. At the end of the game, are you going to be able to shut a team down like what the LA Rams do and develop that where, you have a guy like Aaron Donald, and even, a guy at certain times like a Jalen Ramsey that can shut a receiver down, you're not there yet. And I think that as, we're going to be in more games, it's going to be still close, but I just don't think we have that finish off ability. And I don't think it'll be because we won't be able to score. I think it's because we'll not be able to prevent scoring. Could be wrong, but that's where some of these young guys, you look for the opportunity to step up. But, I think reality and on point to what it is this is a 6-win team, 6-7-win team. I think Vegas had it right.
Yeah, and that was kind of my point of contention. You can get to 9 if you get some breaks.
Yeah.
Those games you were talking about.
If you stay healthy and you get some breaks, and you know what, it comes together
Staying
quicker.
healthy is a break now.
Availability is number one.
Yeah, I mean, it is on a YouTube chat thread. Pistons fan 11. Neal just named 3 guys we knew have been hurt for a while, and Big V. Well, for me, Pistons fan 11, you're starting to see it too, even leak on, to the Anzariques and things like that. And yeah, I know he's been banged up, but these are big resources that were put into guys like him and Paschal. That's what it is, and we're starting to see it. And the Vaitai thing, I don't want to say it dashes my hopes for improvement or anything like that. But Spence, I love the way that he phrased this on the show sheet. Vaitai placed on the injured list. Were we ever going to see this offensive line at full strength? Because we keep hearing about it, right? We keep hearing about it. And I'm a believer. You guys, I think Sewell's a gold jacket, loading. 100% I believe that. But at the same time, look, with the weaknesses that this team has in the linebacking core, in the secondary, your strength, what's the strength of this team, D-Mac? Offensive line.
Right.
No question. There is not another unit that is anywhere near its level. You have to have that running at all cylinders. You have to. That's a blow, man. I don't care what anybody says, that's a blow, and you're behind the 8 ball for a quarter of the season. And remember, when I look at this schedule, people say it's easy. On paper it is. But the second quarter is an MF'er, man. That second quarter of the schedule is a beast. And it's hard. And that second quarter is your setup day, man.
Yeah, and so you hope that it's early on and you can get through it as healthy as possible. Different guys step up. Like I said, you nailed it. At the end of the day, Neal, with this season, with the 17 games left in the clock, is that the books are straight, the culture's the culture's straight, the coaching staff is the ones that I want in there, the message coming out of there. Now we'll work on the rest. I can accept that because it seems like there's some structure and there's some stability that's going on that hasn't been there in the past, even last year.
Right. One place where there's some stability, though, that is Big Boy for a limited time only. All new burgers and loaded fries are at Big Boy. It's not just a Slim Jim. It's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. They're nacho fries. They're nacho fries. That's right. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Burgers and fries.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
On and poppin', talking NFL. It is Lions game week. This Sunday at Ford Field, Lions and the Eagles. By the way, the hometown hero will be back on Friday. So we'll have your Lions hometown hero live in studio. Always love talking to the great men and women that served our country, get their perspectives, get their takes, and we got a really good one for you this week. So it's a story you don't want to miss, and it is really cool, and somebody that I want to climb inside the mind of a little bit, where ask him about decisions he made with his service time, with his life, everything. It's an intriguing story, so make sure you catch us on Friday. We will be doing it up. Hometown Hero back here. A great segment, too. In studio.
Love it.
Yep.
That's the best part.
I do too.
To shake these men and women's hand and, have this conversation to, be able to do what we loved over up until now and to continue. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube chat thread. And here's where I say you guys program the show from time to time, because I get stuff like this, and it really got me thinking, and I really think it's a segment. So props to Coquet.
I think you should call this. We should do a thing because Neal Ruhl's reality check. This is sort of the reality check. Do you guys really understand? Because you're bringing this segue it to whatever, but you're bringing this because it
hit you.
It hit it, and you looked at me and Spencer. Does everybody realize what we're doing here?
Right. And Coquet in our YouTube chat thread. I can't believe how many people are depending on a 6th-round draft pick to save the defense. And you know what? Coquet's right to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've crossed the bridge with Malcolm Rodriguez and the expectations. We're levying a lot on this guy, man. And to some degree, it's not fair to Malcolm Rodriguez. I don't think. Now he'll be we've talked to him. He'll be the first one to say, "Put it on me. I'll ride out."
Yeah.
I know that. But I think when we pump the brakes a little bit on it, D-Mac, I think Coquet's right. We're asking a ton of this guy, man.
But you know what it is? As a 6th rounder and whatever, it seems that we are putting more of the chips in and having maybe more expectations because of the attitude or what we saw, maybe what we've seen at Hard Knocks, how he's being viewed, than we do on a 3rd overall pick in Jeff Okudah, right? Like if you're looking right now,
no, you're right. That's another good point.
Here is why it's troubling, because when you ask me, does it seem like there's more of a spotlight on how Malcolm Rodriguez will affect this defense than how Jeff Okudah, your 3rd overall pick cornerback, who's supposed to be this? Like, it's almost like, Neal, to my point, it's almost like people have anything you get out of Okudah is a bonus. Malcolm's the real deal, but isn't that where it's off? Is that where our expectations are off? Shouldn't we have all this expectations on Okudah because that's where he should be, and sort of like let Malcolm, if he's filling those gaps and doing everything and being coachable and everything, I think everything else. I think that the Hard Knocks has made it harder on the 6th rounder. You know what I'm saying? Because they focus more on him than really they have on Okudah. But to me, when you bring up, is that too much pressure on a 6th rounder? I'm like, well, what about our former 3rd overall 1st rounder? Can we put some pressure on him? And when it seems like there's more pressure on Malcolm at 6 than Okudah 3rd overall, that's the problem.
Yeah, and it is. It's just, it hit me when Coquet made that statement out there. And look, we know Spencer Raxter. He's a Malcolm Rodriguez, big friend of the Woodward heavyweights, as a lot of us are, 5 to 7 every day here on Woodward Sports. I mean, and look, you got the jersey and everything like that. Do you buy into what I'm saying, what Coquet is saying, that there are a lot of expectations being put on him, right? Fairly or unfairly?
Fair. I think it's a little unfairly.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree. The guy is still a rookie. He is still a 6th-round draft pick. I think he is going to step up because that's who he is. I think he's going to go out there, and this team was in such need of a linebacker, of somebody to step up, that you see this guy, he has all the hype, he's a great player, he has, all the sideline to sideline speed, he was great at Oklahoma State, and we're expecting him to go out there and go crazy. And I saw somebody on Twitter have a stat projection line of him for like 125 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 I was like, calm down, guys. I have him like 80 to 100 tackles. If he's over 100 tackles, that is a great season for him.
And that's not even going to tell the whole story. How do you deal with running backs in the flat?
Yeah.
Because
here's the whole thing too, where his value is, and this is what I like looking at the depth chart right now, is where he's playing behind Chris Board, which is okay because he's going to be playing special teams too. And it's his impact in the game. And here's why expectations, and I've done it myself. I did it myself because when you're doing comparables or whatever else, and somebody in the chat thread threw a name out that he reminded me of when I was watching was Luke Kuechly, right? He used to be Carolina. Now that's a friggin' all-pro linebacker, you know. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer or whatever, but a guy that definitely was impactful. Now he was also first rounder and stuff like this. So the expectations, but it also shows you is that, you know, maybe the ceiling of this kid, right? There is a ceiling. We don't know what it is, right? Because we know the motor's there and stuff like this. To your point, can he handle the size? Can he handle the hitting and stuff like this? I believe we're going to find out. And if I was a betting man, I'd say yes, just in knowing the kid, how it's made up.
Seeing him, like standing next to him.
His basis is wrestling, and he's from Oklahoma. So he sort of likes to get hit. You know, like when you're watching Hard Knocks and they're talking about, you know, when you're showing him getting in there, there's people that are built like that, right? There's people that are built, and that's who you want in your linebacker. He reminds me of the Spielmans and the mentality of the Stephen Boyds that came through here, right? That's the mentality that you want out of your linebacker. Like, he likes it. So, yeah. Now, can he execute, right? But you can't tell me, like, didn't they say Aaron Donald was too small and he's the greatest defender on the planet?
Absolutely.
So there you go.
In the YouTube chat thread, Go Blue says, we'd win like 12 games if we started Tom Kennedy.
Wait, did Easy change his thing to Go Blue now?
Your thoughts, Sam Flannel?
They're just baiting me. I'm not going to take the bait. I'll talk about what is actually relevant, and that is the Malcolm Rodriguez stuff. And I think it's interesting because, like you said, Spencer, like we kind of all agree on, if Malcolm Rodriguez, if this wasn't such a starved and a limited linebacking core, Malcolm Rodriguez wouldn't be starting, and it's no shot at him whatsoever. I think Malcolm Rodriguez is going to be really good. I think he was underdrafted.
Do we have some legend killer before it even starts? Yeah. Can we get the graphic, please? Sorry to interrupt your point. Go on.
I'm not killing anybody. I'm just saying that if the Lions linebacking core were decent, then Malcolm Rodriguez wouldn't be starting. And I'm not saying that he's not really good. He was underdrafted because of his size, even though, like you said, Neal, if you stand next to him, that dude is a load. I'm just saying that it speaks to the Lions linebacking core being so limited, having no depth, being so bad. And Malcolm Rodriguez is jumping at the opportunity. I hope he plays well, but he is never going to be Luke Kuechly. If he becomes Luke Kuechly, I will kiss Malcolm Rodriguez's feet personally.
It's a good thing you got that Nebraska take and you love Scott Frost, so we know that you could be absolutely wrong. Notice I didn't even say what you said about me or Ben Wallace. I mean, forget all that stuff. But here's the one thing, to your point, right? It's not really fair to Malcolm, because if you were in the proper organization where you had linebackers in front of you to teach you, where you could start out on special teams and start out as a backup, he's going to get thrown in the fire. So we're going to find out sooner or later. If I'm going on the is he or isn't he, I'm going he is. So that's where Sam Flannel and I differ, but we're going to find out sooner or later because, again, you don't have anything else.
No, you don't. But I'll tell you what you do have, though, if you enroll your kids in the Academy of Warren.
We're talking about Mr.
Kearney,
Mr. Kearney earlier, right? If you want to have that experience, Neal mentioned it, the basketball courts, volleyball court, the 7-on-7. Academy of Warren, if you're interested in expanding your career, making a difference in your community, Academy of Warren for professionals that have a passion for working with students in the kindergarten to 8th grade department and more. So if you want the opportunity to help these kids out, information on how to apply, give them a call, 586-552-8010, hashtag we are AOW, academyofwarren.net. Look them up today.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, we're fired up. We got NFL football this week. You guys are going to have to check us out at 4:30 at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. You guys are also going to have to go over to that app store and check out oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, the best place to check all the odds of sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, we like fun coupons. We got to get ready for NFL football, so let's get after it. So listen, Johnny Cueto, 2-1, 1.0 whip in his last 3 starts. Sounds good to me. I'll take him today against the Mariners. Oddstrader.com, Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxer, just wrapping up this Lions discussion before. Just a quick NHL question. We're going to sneak in the final couple minutes of this segment. Ask DMAC as well, coming up in about 10 minutes at 12:50. So get those questions ready as well. And, you know, just kind of wrapping this thing up here, I guess the moral of the story is, as it gets closer, I think the reality begins to set in, and it all comes back to the clock, man. It does. And mission accomplished. And I'll call the shot too. I gotta stay consistent with this, D-Mac. I said this last year when I signed on at Woodward back in August. This is a 34-game deal.
2-year process, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to put it out there, you got to be consistent with it. We got to allow it to play out. But I'll tell you this, going into kicking that clock back on to run these games off for the second 17 of them for the second season, where we're at, where we've come from the beginning of when this clock went up, man, thumbs up, right? A lot better. It didn't start well, but I'm going to give it an 8.5. I couldn't even expect, because I know that the culture's right from being down there. You tell me the books are right. I see the coaching staff right.
Difference,
so
though.
Here we go. Let's go on the ride. Plus, we got 17 games to let it play out. Let them learn this year. It's going to be disappointing. We're going to lose this. There's going to be bad decisions made. There's going to be guys hurt, this and that. But when the smoke clears and the clock's done going into next year's draft and free agency, we know who we are.
Easy does it. Eminem on Hard Knocks tonight.
Absolutely.
Are you Hard Knocked out, Spence?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be the worst episode. Because, like, to the point, we already know everybody that gets cut. Eminem's on it.
So in retro...
Yeah, but I'm looking to see maybe they
Easy
focus
guy.
on...
I'm just kidding.
Easy guy.
I'm just kidding.
In retrospect, though, I think it is kind of what I said. It sucks when it's on your team, because I love Hard Knocks. It's my favorite show. It's just when you know everything that happens already, it's kind of mid, man.
Well, I think to your point, the last episode is.
Yeah.
Not the rest of it.
The rest is good.
And I mean, then you can see how it's played out. To me, how it plays out to who's on the practice squad, to see, like, listen to names, to see what was said. Like I said, who played their way on the team, who played their way off. The guys who played their way on, they should put in the back of your mind, because this guy's got what it takes, or he sees his opportunity. Are we going to see that more? Right? Are they going to talk more about what the expectations? What I like is sort of the transparency. I want to see, you know what it is? I want to see if I'm going to get some closure on whose names were moved from here to here to whatever that I didn't see in the last episode. You know, it was sort of like the Vader board and stuff like this.
I think it's dope how he has that thing that comes down to cover it up.
Yeah, that is cool.
And it's no touch.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That was pretty sweet. I did like that. D-Mac, I got a hockey question for you.
Hockey answers over here, bro.
Yeah. And Spence came up with this one, and it really got me thinking. I'm just going to sneak this in there real quick because we do
really
have D-Mac with us.
Really got me now.
Who will be the NHL's best defenseman in 3 years? You see, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, Cale Makar, Mo Seider, obviously, Owen Power up there on that list.
Don't matter who the best is. Who will
be?
Need, listen, the game's
everyone
changed.
says that, yes.
I was telling you, the game's changed. Yeah, you need, but as long as you have one of the top 5 or 6, because here's the thing, you name all these guys on the list and it could be either one of them. And these guys could be interchangeable, you know, for years. You look at back and, you had Lidstrom and you had Pronger and you had Niedermeyer and, different in the 90s and stuff like this. The bottom line is you got one of those guys right now. Now, the bigger question to the expansion, because all these guys here, right, you know what McCarr is. You pretty much know what Sider is. Owen Power is still developing, a younger guy. All these other guys, you look at Adam Fox, who I put down. You look at Svechnikov. The one thing I mentioned to Spence when he brought this up is I said, no. That's not the question. The question is, do you have 2 of the top 10 or top 15? Because what it's turned into, and yes, the power center, the Steve Yzerman, the Wayne Gretzky, the Mario Lemieux, that powerful down the middle guy is now changed to your defenseman, right? It started in Tampa. You saw Victor Hedman, right? But you also need who's their partner, right? Hedman has Svechnikov. You look at Adam Fox in New York. He's got a local kid in Trouba. You look at Cale Makar, who arguably is the best player.
He's very good.
Got
He's
Taves.
so good.
He's so good, which he could be the Nick Lidstrom or whatever, but you have a different guy. What I'm saying is that it's interesting to see the development of the 2 young guys, the Calder Trophy and Mo Sider here, and I'm huge on Simon Edvinsson. So do you have A and B? Right? Do you have the complementary piece to your machine? It's not important if you have the number 1 guy. It's important that you have one of these top guys, because that's how teams are building their championship teams. It's not through that center position. It's through that defense, right? So it's more important of solidify, because it's a skating league. It's puck moving. It's a skating league. Cale Makar, I'm going to say him because he reminds me of Lidstrom. There's a machine value to this that he ain't going down. He's going to be the consistent player his whole career. I mean, it's unbelievable. But we also have a guy who's a little bit different. We talked earlier in the segment about cars, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Where McCarr's like that all-purpose Ferrari, right? Where you got more of the tank, Hummer, Maserati, I don't know what it is.
Escalade
Insider.
style. Yeah.
But it's how do you develop around them. So if I was going to look on that list, your guy's going to be in the conversation. But if you put a gun to my head, I got to say it's Cale Makar.
And that's interesting because obviously in the chat, Mo Sider, only and like Brandon Katz said, Cale Makar will be the best defenseman in the league for the next decade, and it won't be close.
See, and you know what? And you're right, Neal. I found it. You said Brandon Katz had good takes sometimes. That is a freaking great take.
Yeah.
I agree. Him and I agree. Way to go, Brandon.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
But it's the numbers, man.
Yeah.
The offensive numbers, they're eye-popping.
Yeah.
See, but then it's what do you want, right? Because
what are you shopping
now he's
for?
Makar's more physical than people give him credit for, but Mo Sider is that physical guy.
Yes.
Right? So do you want that Victor Hedman? Do you want to build that's what Stevie did. Stevie went out and found himself the 2020s version of Victor Hedman. He's a right-handed shot. Now he found him. Now he's going to, I got this other guy in Edvinsson. So he's going to, it's how you insulate and how you build. And other teams and the great teams that make it to the conference finals, they build it so teams are being built differently than they were 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Right. And, it's one of those things where that's the prescribed response where we'll stand, it'll be Mo Sider, no doubt. But then you start breaking down what you're shopping for.
Right.
And I think, D-Mac, it is, and Victor Hedman showed us that. You got to have, at the defensive spot, you got to have one of those guys. You got to have one.
To me, he's the pioneer of the evolution of the game after I retired. So to post 2010, to say the evolution of what you need, how to build a team, and how it changed. Right? Before it used to be, you look even to the back of 08, you got 2 centermen. You got the Euro twins. Even you have Kane and Taves winning in Chicago. You look at, LA winning and different teams, but now it's that defenseman.
Yeah, and again, that offensive quote-unquote
and lugging
machine.
Minutes, man. These guys they wear friggin' scuba gear. Yeah. They got scuba tanks. They play 25, 30 minutes. High impact, kill penalties, power play. Like, you don't understand that. That's like the value of having that all-terrain, do it in every situation and not get tired. I mean, like the skating and the game's changed for defensemen too. So, I mean that's it's crazy, but that's where championship starts. It's in that one D man.
Real quick, D-Mac, Paul Thomas. There will never be a more skilled defenseman in the league than Nick Lidstrom. What's Cale Makar's ceiling? Is it that?
See, I think Cale Makar has more explosive because he's more in the play. He's more Nick's not a jump in the play guy. Nick's knock the puck down, make the right play all the time, give it to him in the point. He's going to get the shot through, and unless Homer, keeps it from going in the net, it's probably in the net. Stuff like that. They're a different guy. Nick's more cerebral, where I think Makar's, So if Nick's a Ferrari, what's faster than a Ferrari? Like, it's a different gear, like a different speed. He's looking for a different speed. They're slightly different players, but their impact on their team carries the same. The biggest thing, here's the difference, right? When you mention Colorado, you might mention Nathan McKinnon, and then you'll mention Cale Makar. Or you mention Cale Makar, you mention Nathan McKinnon. You mention the Detroit Red Wings championship teams. Lidstrom is your fifth guy that you name. Right. You always forget about him because he was the cloaked. It's almost like the cloaked assassin, almost like Assassin's Creed.
I like what Klompsauce just said. Makar is chasing Orr, not Lidstrom, because that's the offensive defenseman part. Where fair. Lidstrom is like the GOAT best defensive defenseman ever in the NHL, hands down.
Best more of an all around ish. Like, it's, again, at the end of the day, it's arguing apples and oranges.
Yes.
No, it is. It's just,
and it's if Makar has to put it together and put the tape in just like Lidstrom did.
Which it all comes back to me. Imagine if Sergei was just a defenseman. If he only played defenseman in his career.
I just imagine if Sergei played now. Sergei, Bure, McGillney, a lot of these talented guys played in this league now where guys can't touch them.
He'd be going for 50 goals a year every year if Sergei played
even
now.
At the defensive spot.
Yeah.
God, I love that man.
We know. Sorry, this was the Tuesday.
I'm afraid of how much I love that man.
I love you, Sergei. This is Neal's I love you, Sergei moment. Can we get a heart over Neal's face with the 91? Retire 91.
Love you, Sergei.
There it is. Love you, Serge. Love you, Sparky.
Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. It's also home of the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for just $10 a month with access to your home club, upgrade to the Black Card, unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. You can join today in club. You're going to pass a couple on the way home, or if you're trying to stalk Sergei Fedorov or something like that, you could take a break from that and pull into the parking lot at Planet Fitness and join up there. If you're motivated, go on your computer right now. PlanetFitness.com. It's Planet Fitness. Darren McCarty.
Well, your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Hey guys, D-Mac here at Alta Uptime Matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a bog project coming up. Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Final segment of the show. It's time for Ask D-Mac. Anything that you guys want to know? Wrapping up the Sergei Fedorov.
By the way, before we get off this, because did you notice what your boy did, Sergei Fedorov did, coaching in the KHL?
Absolutely. Going to overtime.
Going into overtime.
Pull
wins
the goalie.
The draw and
pulls the goalie.
Pulls the goalie to take it 4-on-3, and wouldn't you know it, tic-tac-toe, boom, in the back of the net.
Love that.
I love that too. What did you
that.
say on the text? And you're absolutely right. Where
You cannot lose. You can't lose if the other team doesn't have the puck.
There you go. There you go.
That's it.
Showing he just wasn't a flash in the pan.
Yep.
I mean, he is definitely getting. He will be an NHL coach if he wants to be soon.
He's going to be our Scotty.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
What? How can your fandom
How
go any
swollen
higher?
Neal's pants be?
Yeah,
Put
how
it this way: the
swollen
desk
your
just
pants
broke.
be?
We wouldn't have to worry about replacing this chair tomorrow. Or whatever, the desk will be broke.
My britches, my britches will be altered.
If Sergei Fedorov came back as a head coach and won a Stanley Cup for the Red Wings,
I wouldn't be able to take it. I legit wouldn't be able to take it.
I'm down. I'm in.
I'm in too.
Whatever, whoever. Maybe you never know. That could be the secret sauce. That could be the secret sauce. Good thing. You're running it through.
Where were we? What were we talking about? Is it
Ask
over yet?
D-Mac.
Is the show over? Oh, Ask D-Mac.
Patty Grimes asked,
what's your favorite
my
restaurant in Detroit?
restaurant? And it depends on obviously the circumstance. If I'm going Italian, Andiamo's has always been one of the favorite. Where it takes Chris Draper 4 hours with his jaw wired shut. Need to plate a gnocchi. 4 freaking. Anyways, don't worry. I was
Veal
drinking back
Parmesan.
then, so that's good. Can't beat Telway. 11 and
John R.
Yeah, 11 and John R. That's my jam.
Telway's good.
Here's one. Somebody sneaking one in for me, the away fan. Neal, do you have a Fedorov jersey? If so, what kind?
Please.
I have the Nike
Listen,
Fedorov
he has
jersey.
the authentic Nike one, but how many Fedorov T-shirts and stuff do you have?
I do have the Nike authentic one. That Sergey, I had him sign it when I was at the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame thing. So it is signed. I got a backload of jerseys I got to get framed.
Yeah.
It's
but if you frame them, you can't wear them.
That's
no, I don't wear. I would never wear that one. Now.
I would never. I'd wear a D-Mac jersey in a second. I would never wear a D-Mac jersey. Which, by the way, if you do have a D-Mac jersey, you're supposed to wear it, and you're supposed to get mustard and beer stains and cigarette burns and all that stuff. That's what the D-Mac jersey's for. The Fedorov, the Eisman, all the rest of them, you put them up.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm running. I got like a backlog of jerseys I have signed that I have to get framed. I got to get the basement finished to do all that. But hey, too many furnaces are getting in the way.
That's
so
fair.
you know how that is. But guys, I am trying to decide though between there's a Sergei All-Star jersey I've been thinking about getting, or a Russian team one. That'd be pretty on brand.
Russian team would be sick.
That would be pretty on brand
would be a
too.
sick
I don't think
jersey.
it's the right climate right now for that.
Yeah.
I want things to calm down. But it's Sergei.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sergei. It's not Sergei's fault.
Hey,
what's
and you know
going
what,
on.
AC? I'm always about the non-durable goods, bro. You bring it to it doesn't matter if he moves at 5 points, 4 points, Jerome Powell, no matter what he does, it's always about non-durable goods. You know that.
I still
you're being
can't-
a dead horse when you're coming to me.
I still can't believe that Russian national team of their first line of Ovechkin, Datsuk, Malkin didn't win. Like that. That's like one of the dirtiest
Canadians
lines
shut him down,
ever.
or the Swedes shut him down? Canadians shut him down, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what was
They
great
gave him
though.
like Crosby and Taves.
And this was peak Neal in that Olympics. I didn't care about the tournament game where they played Russia.
Yeah.
I was locked in for when they played Kazakhstan. and they were winning 9-0.
Yeah.
And they were just tic-tac-toeing the puck around the ice.
Oh, yeah.
That was peak, man. That's why I love Olympic hockey. It's not for Canada, Russia. It's for Russia, Kazakhstan, or Russia, Italy.
Well, why don't you
things
just come
like
to
that.
an alumni game? You can watch the same stuff.
Yeah, but
that's the best part of the alumni game.
Well, you guys go get McGillney and Bure and Fedorov and Ovechkin and get that in the alumni game.
He's an alumni.
Yeah.
You never know.
So
then you'll show up.
Patty Grimes, Neal, do you have a D-Mac jersey? I do not, as a matter of fact. I do need to. I do need to get one for the basement, though. We certainly have to do that. AC said you're going to catch a beating for wearing that Russia jersey. That's a thing. Like
Sergey.
It's Sergey, though. I think Sergey gets you out of that.
Yeah, for sure. Sergey or Datsuk, you can wear those.
Yeah, I would think that. Luda Corp says, I need to rock a D-Mac jersey and camo shorts.
Absolutely, that's where it is. And you know what? Cut off the sleeves, too, if you really want to get at it. But it depends what you're using it for. I mean, you never know.
Mark Speed wants to know, D-Mac, you ever go to St. Clair Shores and get some Travis burgers?
I have been there before.
Yes.
It's that's Tom Mazaway's neighborhood, Kirk Malpe's neighborhood. So I have been there. Delicious.
I used to work.
I just go by convenience. Telway's right down the road.
I used to work at the Andiamo on 14 Mile and Van Dyke, the banquet hall. Man, we'd go over, get that employee discount on the dining service. Like I said, that veal parmesan, cup of filet or two. Oh man.
Were you talking Andiamo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Putting in work.
That's good stuff.
Putting in work, yeah.
Absolutely. Tony D, good show, guys. Cheers, fellas. Hey, Tony, we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else tapping in as well. That'll do it for Big D Energy today. So for D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, for Spencer Raxter, my name is Neal Ruhl. See you again tomorrow.
Deuces.
Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.